All right, welcome back. Time to bring in our panel right now. With us today, former state party chair for the Indiana Democrats, Robin Winston, 2016 vice chair for the Indiana Trump campaign, Tony Samuel. We plan to have two former state lawmakers with us today, but we do have one. We have former state lawmaker Terry Austin with us here as well. So let's start with you here, Terry, and your thoughts on Todd Young's remarks we talked about earlier in the wake of CNN's town hall with Donald Trump. Senator Young breaking from the former president, saying he won't support him in the primary. How significant is that, do you think, in your view?
Well, I think he's the only current sitting congressman who's come out and been so bold. Part of me says, what took you so long? But the other part of it is, you know, we'll see what happens. They're not known many times when you're a current elected official to be so willing to stand up for fear that you're going to incur the wrath of your own voters.
He did just get reelected for another 6 years.
Well, he's got a cushion. So he's got a cushion. But whether others, you know, who are on a 2-year cycle or folks whose own elections are coming up in 2024 remains to be seen.
What'd you make of the town hall overall? CNN faced some backlash for holding it just a day after the former president was found liable for sexual abuse. That topic came up at the town hall. He insulted the woman who brought those claims. The crowd kind of cheered him on. Was that format appropriate in your view? And what did you make of the former president's remarks there overall?
Well, that town hall had probably been scheduled for a long time. So the fact that it coincided with the day after his guilty verdict.
That ended up being coincidental.
Yes, was coincidental. I might have stayed away from that particular question at this point. I think there'll be plenty of other opportunities to, you know, focus on it in the future, but it is what it is, and CNN faced a backlash for it. And I think they're gonna have a lot of splaining to do, as Desi Arnaz used to say.
All right, let's get some thoughts here from Tony as well. The president, of course, also the former president, sticking by some of his false statements about the 2020 election in that town hall and made news on a host of other topics. I know you have a different view on some of the things he said there in that town hall, and also on Senator Young's remarks in the aftermath of the former president's town hall.
Well, just to comment on Senator Young's comments, he's you know, willing to say that, and he's expected to say, you know, speak his free mind. He's, you know,
and
that's
it's a primary
fine.
process.
Well,
everybody's going to support
that's
somebody.
fine to do that, is
right.
what I'm trying to say here. You know, it's his opinion, and you know, I consider him a friend. I think he's doing a great job as our U.S. senator. But you know, I'm going to differ on that opinion, and a lot of other folks will. What's really going to matter is the folks that came out in 2016 that supported Donald Trump, and as I've said before, those folks are still out there. So you're going to have different elected officials decide they're going to back maybe DeSantis, decide they're going to back maybe Mike Pence here in Indiana. You're going to have some. Several that will still stick with President Trump, and they're going to do that because of the results that he gave this country when he was president, and that's the same thing that the average Trump voter wanted him to do when he was running in 2016. They saw the results, and that's why they'll stick with him.
But if this town hall helps to solidify his support in the primary, among the primary electorate, did it do anything to help convince people who didn't vote for him in 2020 to vote for him next time around?
Well, I think it probably did, because if you look back over, say, the last 6 months, he hasn't been in the mainstream media very much at all. Now you've got CNN, whose ratings are suffering, and you know, they see an opportunity because he's way ahead in the primary polls, and he's way ahead of Joe Biden you know, at this juncture, and I think that will continue. So you got CNN wanting to take advantage of that, put Trump back on the air, which, you know, surprised a lot of people, but it was the best ratings they've had in quite a long time. So, you know, you've got that, and then you've got for President Trump, you've got the opportunity to state his case to the American people, not just you know, the conservative or the Trump voter, but across the board. I think he did a fine job. I think he was very reserved, very calm, very direct and to the point. He got his points across. Caitlin, was, you know, very combative. She wasn't a moderator. She was his opponent. It was more like a debate.
Well,
but he made great points.
His first mainstream interview in a while, there were a lot of things to press him about, as we talked about earlier. Robin, what was your reaction to all of this?
I watched it after. I didn't watch the live. There was no Ron DeSantis town hall. There's no Asa Hutchinson town hall. There's no Chris Sununu town hall. So once again, Donald Trump has taken the oxygen out of the Republican race for president. he is going to be your nominee. I believe he's going to be your nominee. I don't think Todd Young had anything to do with president. This is about the United States Senate. Other than a seat in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Todd Young would be a committee chair. And he blames those losses on the kind of right-wing zealot candidates that they ran. Herschel Walker in Georgia, and then they ran the guy, Dr. Oz,
yeah.
of all people, from New Jersey, running in Pennsylvania. So they lost the U.S. Senate because those people were aligned with Trump. That's what bothers Todd Young.
And he spoke to that in some of those interviews.
Terry, you are representative. You've been on the stage with candidates. He'll be there on that stage in 24 when they come to the fairgrounds. So I'm not so concerned about that. But the thing that I did not like about the town hall was the audience. I mean, some of the things that the president said, and they cheered him on. Somebody has got to bring civility to this, and you know who that is Joe Biden, and that's why he'll win again.
All right.
One last thing.
Yeah.
You know, the race that really mattered when President Trump won in 2016, he won Indiana by 20 points. If you remember, I predicted a 20-point win. Todd Young won by 10 points. It was that Trump win that carried Todd Young, carried Governor Holcomb, carried a lot of other people. We need to remember that as well.
All right, let's turn to the State House here as well today. Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch rolling out a number of endorsements this week, including a couple members of Congress, Greg Pence and Larry Bouchon. Tony, how important are these kinds of endorsements here at this stage of the game?
Well, it shows strength, and it shows that she's got her game on. And you've got a year now until the real race for governor in Indiana is that primary in 2024. You've got her as lieutenant governor. She's not just qualified because she's lieutenant governor. She's been a state representative. She's been a state auditor. She's been a county auditor. She's got the transparency and government efficiency is going to be key to her issues that she talks about. She's probably definitely the most qualified out there. She's the most likable. She's a great fundraiser. She's doing a great job.
Though, right? Mike Braun, Eric Dolan
tough
in there
primary.
too.
You've got guys that are going to self-fund while she's out there raising money from grassroots supporters. But the other key is these endorsements. They're going to be continuing to roll out. You had Greg Pence, Congressman Greg Pence, Congressman Larry Bouchon, but also former Secretary of State Connie Lawson, Noblesville Mayor Chris Jensen. You're going to have these, going on for quite a while.
Terry, meantime, Democrats have a candidate for governor now as well with Jennifer McCormick's announcement last week. Will she have a clear path to the nomination, do you think, or will there will be others getting into that race as well?
I've not had calls from anybody else considering it. She's done a significant amount of groundwork. One thing I will tell you about Jennifer McCormick is she does her homework. And she didn't jump into this lightly. She's been planning for it. She's got relationships both within the state and across the country, and she knows how to leverage those. So I think she will actually run a very competitive race.
All right, anything else you're keeping your eye on here as we look ahead to the next cycle? We also have that 5th district race. We heard from Victoria Spartz earlier, Chuck Goodrich announcing officially he's going to get into that race. Is that a race Democrats can compete in next time around? They did in 2018, not so much, or in 2020, but not so much in 22.
Well, in 22, they redrew the lines, took Marion County out of the district because Christina Hill came very close to winning. I think a lot of it will depend upon what happens in Carmel in this race.
Okay, we got to leave it there. We've got much more to come right after this. Stick around. We're going to take you to some of the memorials in the nation's capital to honor fallen officers here in Indiana and across the country. Up next.